The fun part about this video is going to be if I make it outside the entire recording of the video or if I go inside. It is easily 1,000 degrees outside, but who cares? I am here to talk about college football. And I wanted to make this video because the way that I evaluate college football teams might be different than the way other people evaluate college football teams. I don't really know, but I thought it'd be cool to put it out now because there might be some things coming very soon that you might question why certain things. And so, hey, here I am ready to make this video right before the college football season kicks off. And it's very important for me to have all of this information out there. So whenever somebody has a question, I can always say, hey, I have a video for that. However, what I'm going to talk about are the different ways that I measure college football teams. The way that I measure college football teams is slightly different than the way that I measure NFL teams, because in the NFL, I expect everybody to have it figured out. I expect teams to be good. I expect teams to really win in the margins versus winning based on talent. And so that makes it a little bit different. But it is about to be college football season. There's about to be some fun college football things that are happening. And so why not make a video about that? The other super fascinating thing about college football is obviously the transfer portal. With the transfer portal, everybody thinks that they have a chance, and that's fine by me. If everybody thinks they have a chance, it is what it is. But there are certain teams that have more talent than other teams. There are certain teams that are spending more money than other teams. And there are certain teams that are just places where players really want to go as compared to other teams. But you're not here to hear me talk about that. Let me talk about some things that I think about when I'm thinking about how I measure up college football teams. One of the interesting college football measurements for me are the people who can impact plays. I don't care about the dependent positions as much as some people. When I say dependent, I mean cornerbacks, receivers, quarterbacks. I'm not saying those positions don't matter. But in college football, your ability to impact a play has a tremendous upside. And a lot of teams that win in college football are the teams that can create some dynamic things and create some situations that put everybody in trouble. And so for me, those are people that can make impact on the game. A lot of time that is offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, those people who can make those immediate impacts, those people who make people rethink everything that they're trying to do. Those are the people I usually pay the closest attention to in college football. The other thing I usually say too are the people who are closest to the football have the most ability to make impact plays. And so teams that have those players in key positions matter to me. However, let me give you the list of 5 things I really pay attention to whenever I am measuring a college football team. Because of what I said previously, returning production is going to be huge. The players that are coming back to play on these college football teams, returning production is huge. I know people say, well, you can revamp an entire football team based on the transfer portal. That is fantastic. But at some point, you have to have some depth somewhere. In order to have depth, you have to have people returning that understand the system, that like the system. Now, when I look at Ohio State, when I look at Michigan, and when I look at Indiana, there are some things that I'm seeing that are trending with those teams, and they had to have people come back. I know it's super easy for us to look at these teams and to say, hey, they're going to be good because they got all of these great players. They're doing all of these great things. For me, returning production at key positions matters a tremendous lot. If you want more of me and more of my content, don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to also leave me a comment in the comment section below. And for those of you that don't know, I do have memberships available. There's 2 different tiers. So if you want more of me, there are options where you can get more of me. Now let me get you back to your video. Hi, I had to come inside because it was 1,000 degrees. Now let me continue with this video. So in my mind, there's a lot of upside to a guy returning to a program and being in the same situation that he was in last year. That does not mean though, the teams that bring in people are not going to be good teams. It is just, I pay attention to the returning production because that tells me about the strength and the health of your overall program. So to me, the first thing I look at is who is returning from last year's team. I want to see that returning production. I want to see what that returning production looks like before I start to look at anything else, because in a lot of ways, that is your general foundation to kind of figure out exactly where you're at. And when I say returning production, I mean the returning production that actually played. I don't care if you set the bench as much. I care if you actually played and you made an impact. So I pay attention to returning production. The second thing I pay attention to is the transfer portal rankings and who you got out of the transfer portal. What do the players look like that you got out of the transfer portal? Do we have high-rated players? Are they low-rated players? Are they an entire offensive line? Are they an entire defensive line? Are they pass rushers? Are they linebackers? I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't care about receivers and cornerbacks. I do care about those positions. But to me, the foundation of a football team is that offensive line and that defensive line. And I cannot be out here yelling and screaming about the foundation and the importance importance of the trenches in football and not pay very close attention to the transfer portal players that come out that are in the trenches. I have to be intellectually consistent when I talk about football. And so because of that, I am very fascinated to see who comes out of that transfer portal and what positions are they getting. Are you getting all skill positions out of the transfer portal, or are you getting other players out of the transfer portal? What your transfer portal haul looks like matters to me. And so that's the second thing I usually pay attention to when I'm evaluating football teams. The third thing I pay attention to are the previous recruiting classes who is still with the team and your ability to retain talent. Because to me, this is where your depth comes into play. I said a lot of times in videos last year in the college football playoffs and just overall, the depth of teams really matter. Where you usually get your depth is that high school recruiting and those people that are going to stay within your program. What did those players look like? Who are those players? How do they show up? That matters to me, mainly because I haven't seen a single team win a national championship yet that got 100% of their players from the transfer portal. You still have to have some talent that is on your team, that is retained from your team. Usually that comes in the form of recruiting classes. Some people will say to me, yeah, but if I go recruit 25 players and 11 of those players enter the transfer portal, then what? What that means is you then have 14 players that are still your foundation. We have to stop looking at the players that are going to leave and focus on the players that are going to stay. If one year you have 20 players and 11 players leave and 9 stay, and another year you have the same thing, except for this time 9 players leave and 11 stay, or whatever that math turns out to be, that tells me that you still have 20 people that are in your program that you have retained, because retaining means that you should be developing. And if you're developing and you have those strong recruiting classes and you're developing great talent, that should set you up to have some depth pieces. That should also set you up to have players that can be productive on a football team. This is not just about transfer portal. You have to fill in your team all different ways. If you go back and just look at the teams that have been successful, they have been able to do this successfully. That is how they win. Everybody's not just winning off high school recruiting anymore. I understand that. You're winning off high school recruiting, what you can retain, what your transfer portal looks like, what your trenches look like. All the things I'm listing here are all the reasons why teams are winning. So why not put them all in a video? The fourth thing I'm going to say here is going to be coaching trust. Coaching trust is huge. If I had all of these pieces, I have 5 different things. If I put all of these together and everything gets 20% here, 20% here, 20% here to make 100%, the coaching trust is going to be one of those things. Is the coach going to run the ball when the coach needs to run the ball? If the coach sees that a play is working, is he going to continue to run the same play over and over and over and over? Is the coach going to make good coaching decisions? Do I trust this coach to make good decisions? A lot of the times, the way that I evaluate games is sometimes if I feel like the talent is equal, if I feel like every single thing across the board is equal and I don't know who I'm going to pick, I will look at coaching to decide my decision. And once I look at coaching, if I don't trust you, I am not going to give you that edge because I don't trust you. Coaching trust level is super important here. And a lot of teams that lose, you can say the more talented team lost. And if you kind of sometimes look on paper, you can actually see the moments where things went south. And a lot of it comes down to coaching decisions. So sometimes when you're just looking at the talent and all the talent is matching and you're trying to figure out how to make your decision, look at that coach. See what coach you trust, see what coach you don't trust, and then make your decision off that. The fifth and final measurement I have is quarterback trust, because the quarterback touches the ball on almost every single offensive possession. If you touch the ball on every single offensive possession, you are important and you matter. You can't turn the ball over and I have to be able to trust you. Does that mean you have to be stellar? Absolutely not. Does that mean you have to be consistent? Absolutely. And so if you're consistent and I'm able to trust your quarterback play, and in my mind, I always say, I don't need my quarterback to go win me the game. If they win me the game, great. I will not be upset if they go win me the game. But what they cannot do is they cannot lose me the football game. If they lose me the football game, they are a liability. So I need to be able to trust my quarterback to make a play when he needs to make a play. Otherwise, I need him to be a leader. I need him to be consistent. I need you to hike the football. I need you to know the plays. I need you to make good decisions. I just need to be able to trust you. So when I look at teams, these are the 5 things I pay attention to in college football. If I look at your team and I don't know where you're at on different things, I get concerned. It is that simple. I don't make this complicated. I don't make this hard. I judge everybody the same way. And if I judge everybody the same way, when I look at my team, I see one thing. When I look at another team, I see the exact same thing that I do when I look at my team. That is why I watch a ton of college football, so that when I have an opinion, I can say, I trust this, I don't trust that. It is super important for me to do some of these things. Now, there's a lot of things I can't really measure. I can't measure injuries. That's just something I can't measure. I can't measure discipline. That's not something that I can do. I can't measure just talent showing up in big time moments. I can look at teams and decide who I think is more talented, but a lot of times, sometimes talent just wins out. If you can win a pass rush one-on-one, your talent is just going to be your talent. That is going to impact a football game. That is why trenches matter. I am 9 times out of 10 going to go for the team that can create the most confusion and that can disrupt the game the most. Where it gets tricky, though, is when you have a team that's extremely disciplined, that is executing at a high level, and that is extremely consistent, because that is so hard to beat, because they have to make mistakes for you to beat them. And if you're not making any mistakes, where is my opportunity to beat you? If you figure out how to slow down my bread and butter just a little bit, that's enough for you to win the game. So when I am evaluating football, especially heading into this new season, these are all the things that I'm thinking about. I don't pick teams based on logos. I don't pick teams based on what people think that they should do. I look at the details. I look at the team. I look at what I think. I trust how I feel, and I watch a lot of football to figure it out. These 5 things come into play for me a lot. I just need you to do the basic things right. That is my motto when I'm watching football. Basic things right. What does that mean? Don't turn the ball over, right? Protect the football. Run the football when you're supposed to. If the ball comes to you, catch it, right? All of those things. Do I expect players to be perfect? No. But when I'm looking at college football this year, there are a lot of teams that I feel like think they're going to be really good because they were probably really good last year, or they really like their transfer portal haul this year. But for me, it all starts in the trenches. If I don't trust your offensive line, I don't know about that. If I don't even trust your quarterback, I don't even know about that either. If I don't trust your coach, that's a whole different conversation. If I don't even like your transfer portal haul, that, you know what I mean? If you're not recruiting at a high level, there are so many different ways that I can look at this and that I can analyze this. But I needed to put this out here now so that everybody understands exactly how I look at football, exactly how I evaluate, exactly what I'm looking for, and exactly why I'm looking for it. Because all of those things matter in the grand scheme of things. I look at football, I watch football from the line of scrimmage out. I'm always looking at the line of scrimmage. It's the first thing I'm looking at. I don't care about anything else. I don't care how tall your receivers are. I don't care how fast they are. I don't care how great your running backs are. If your line of scrimmage isn't doing anything for me, nothing else really matters. That's just how I see it. I will just get off this soapbox. Let me know what you think about my 5 pillars and how I'm really looking at football and how you evaluate teams. Let me know who your team is in the comment section below. And if you want an opinion from me about your team, drop me a comment in the comment section below. I strategically put this at the very end of the video because a lot of people don't make it here. But if you make it here, hey, you have an opportunity. I'll see you in my next video.